Anyway, hi everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Tea with Lev and Dean. I got my coffee. You got coffee and tea this morning? You got both?
I
It's
I got
Saturdays are
coffee, I
coffee
got
and
tea,
tea. Yeah,
I
you
got
got
my
it all.
coffee and tea. I got my
Yeah,
wife brings me my Saturday coffee and
yeah.
my cold brew with vanilla foam. I really don't drink coffee, but I don't know, I got hooked on this cold brew and vanilla foam stuff. So
I think it's the sugar, bro. I
yeah,
think it's
good
the sugar.
morning.
Good
Yeah.
morning, guys. Good morning. Margie, Megan, everybody. Hi, welcome to Coffee and Tea. This is where you get to chat with us. You get to ask questions. And boy, oh boy, it's going to be an interesting coffee and tea today. Donald Trump and his regime attack Venezuela, kidnap Maduro and his wife because they own machine guns. It's just craziness breaking out in Venezuela, chaos around the globe. But nobody's paying attention to the things that Lev told us all about for months, specifically on the 1st of January, where you said, hey, Ukraine is one thing. Donald Trump and his pals are going into Venezuela any fucking day now. If you go to Lev Remembers, you can read it. Hit the Chiron, give us both a follow, but make sure you follow the number one world news leader right now, Mr. Lev Parnas, because you have some insights and we're going to break some shit down today that nobody knows. So this is your chance, folks, not only to get in on the conversation by becoming a paid sub, hit that Chiron at the top. Lev and Dean, you see it. It says Lev Remembers. You can hit the square at the bottom. You need to share this, hammer those hearts the entire time we're talking this morning, because what you're getting about what happened in Venezuela for mainstream media is fully laundered, 100% bullshit, a total fucking lie. Lev Remembers has the real. He's been talking about this for months, and it's much worse than you think. Good morning, all. Where do you want to start, my friend? Because it happened, and you predicted it for months and then hammered it away again on New Year's Day. And once again, Lev Parnas and his crystal palantir comes true.
I love you, my brother. There's no way how you could. I mean, first of all, good morning to everybody. For some of you that haven't slept, I've been up since 3 in the morning on the phones. A lot of you have been up since this invasion started, been watching it. So some of us, it's already a whole day have passed. So first of all, I love you, Dean. But I don't have no crystal ball, folks. I'm not. My wife sometimes laughs and says, "You're be careful. You're going to think you're a prophet." I'm not a prophet. This is, that's why I want to make sure, one thing we deal with is facts. That's the most important thing. And
Yeah.
it's very easy when you have the truth on your side, when you have
Mhm.
facts on your side, it's very easy to tell the story and tell it. I don't have to be a rocket scientist. I don't have to go to school. Most of these pundits out there, most of these media, what you're seeing out there, what they're doing is they're trying to give you opinions. Everybody so far that's come up there, is giving you opinions. Unfortunately, most of them do not have the actual facts and sources, and that's why they can't give you that news. That's why it takes them so long. That's why, as you saw, the Wall Street Journal talking about Steve Witkoff and Kushner and how Putin put him there 7 months after we told you about it, 7 months after our community, after all of us have been talking about it. But listen, it's catching up. This is not about I told you so in no way, shape, or form, but this is important for us to point out because, like I said, it's not about having a crystal ball; it's having real people on the inside.
Yeah.
It's how we are, and that's what I say. And these people risk their lives. They risk, I mean, literally, are risking lives because you got to understand, this is not just somebody working in Donald Trump's orbit. I have folks and sources that are all over the world. I mean, you're talking about deep inside Russia and Ukraine, Venezuela. I like it. It's so crazy. Me and my wife sometimes and the kids sit back and talk about it. And like I'll have sometimes story time with the kids and everything. We'll go through the book because that period of time in our life was such a blur because I was never home. I was all traveling. Nobody
Mhm.
could really understand what's going on. Some of the kids were young at the time. And now to be able to go back and really, when we go start, I even read back the book. And that's why I tell everybody, make sure, more than ever right now, you want to pick up your copy of Shadow Diplomacy because
Mhm.
it's literally, it connects all the dots. I mean, from Venezuela to Ukraine, same players. I mean, I was a point person with Maduro. So trust me when I tell you what we're going to talk about today is not speculation.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a lot of facts and we're not going to gloat on it, but it's important for people that are joining us that might have not been earlier, that are new to the family to the community to know it's important that you understand that what we're telling you here is extremely important facts that we need to pass. That's the most important thing, to pass the message out so the media can pick up on it, so the pundits start talking about it, because we need the truth to come out. We need reality to be out there, and this is a lot of the stuff they're not talking about. Once I think somebody said honest question. Somebody said, "Did you ever think this was wrong? So this is wrong what we are doing?" Uh, I'm not sure the question is what's
Well,
wrong what we're doing.
yeah, well, I get the
We'll get to the
question.
question. Yeah, well, yeah. We'll get to the
Let's
question in a
launch in.
second.
Let's springboard into the details. Details really really simple. Late last night, the American forces, law enforcement, is what Donald Trump and his regime called it in this podunk press conference, which is still going on. I'm getting notes from people saying he's actually gapping out and falling asleep right now in his own press conference about going to war, which
Yeah,
is fascinating.
I'm watching
God, I
him.
love the
Yeah,
chat. Yeah.
watching you. Yeah, I'm
Um,
watching.
but they attacked Venezuela yesterday. They called it a precision strike, took out a bunch of military, took out a square block around where Maduro was sleeping, and he goes house to house to house. So we'll get into those details in just a second. They then went in and said, conspicuously, we captured Donald Trump. That would be nice. We captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife. And we're going to get to some of the details and the excuses around the capture and the announcement of Nicolas Maduro, the now former president of Venezuela, getting taken out of office yesterday in regime change. Which again, we'll get to that and what that means. But Donald Trump put this tweet out, or his Truth Social post out this morning, early in the morning. I think it was around 2 o'clock. Let me just kind of have a peek here. It was I don't have the timestamp on it, around 2 o'clock. The United States of America successfully carried out a large-scale strike against Venezuela and its leader, President Nicolas Maduro, who has been, along with his wife, captured and flown out of the country. This operation was done in conjunction with U.S. law enforcement. Details to follow. There'll be a news conference today at 11 a.m. Mar-a-Lago. Thank you for your attention to this matter, dickhead. You just signed it, his name. I just say dickhead. That was this morning. Marco Rubio then tweeted out a little later on this morning, which I found interesting. Maduro is not the president of Venezuela. His regime is not the legitimate government. Maduro is the head of the cartel Del Los Sols, a narco-terror organization which has taken possession of the entire country. And he's under indictment for pushing drugs into the United States. And Pam Bondi followed that up. And this is where I want to jump off and hand it over to you, Lev. We've laid the tracks. Maduro is in New York. You'll get to all that. Nicolas Maduro and his wife. This is Attorney General Pam Bondi. Now, I want everybody to pay special attention to what they found him harboring. Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, have been indicted in the Southern District of New York. Nicolas Maduro has been charged with narco-terrorism conspiracy, sans proof, cocaine importation conspiracy, sans proof. That's French with means without, sans. Possession of machine guns, Lev, and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices to use against the United States. A law that originated in 1934, by the way. They're applying it to a sovereign citizen in a sovereign country who happens to be the president. Lev, what the fuck happened and why?
Well, we're going to get into it. First of all, we also got, folks, hit those heart buttons. We also have Malcolm Nance that's going to come up and join us and give us some insight. This is a real special report. We got a lot of breaking news. We're just getting into it. And so make sure to hit those hearts. You're not going to hear opinions or commentary. You're going to hear a lot of important information that is happening right now behind the scenes. So first of all, let's start off with this. I want to make it very clear. Nicolas Maduro is a bad dude. Nicolas Maduro is a narco-terrorist. Nicolas Maduro is somebody that does not belong. He's terrorized a lot of people. Nicolas Maduro needs to go down. This is why one of the reasons why Donald Trump had made it his passion of trying to take Nicolas Maduro down, because in his mind, this is a win. This is something that could distract from the Epstein files. This is something that gives him oil power. There's my man, Malcolm. Malcolm. I mean, you can't make this shit up. What brings us together on a Saturday morning, where we should be peacefully thinking about. But here we are, what we've been talking about.
Dude, Malcolm started the podcast like this. He's like, he gets on the screen. Hey, Malcolm, how you doing, brother? He's like this. Ugh.
God almighty. You know, the funny thing is I've been up since 2, and Dean, I'm in Montreal, I'm in the Laurentians, and where it was 0 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 18
Oh.
degrees Celsius this morning. And I got up at 2 in the morning and something told me to check my phone. And I looked at my phone and the attacks had just started. But you know, here we are. It's exactly where I think my first Substack on this was in September. No, late August, where I said the coming war with Venezuela is about oil. It's not about drugs at all. And if you look at the indictment that was handed down against Maduro by Pam Bondi, it the indictment mentions nothing about fentanyl, mentions nothing about oil, mentions nothing about it's the same indictment that Manuel Noriega got in
Yeah.
1990 about him being a narco lord. And I find the most fascinating part is how they have decided they added 2 weapons charges.
Machine guns, bro.
No. Machine guns and weapons of mass
Mass
destruction.
destruction. Yeah.
And what it is, this administration has classified the manufacturing, transport, or possession of drugs
Yeah.
as a weapon system that has been launched at the people of the United States, which I think these are the charges that'll get thrown out. I think that if they're going to lose in court, they're going to lose on that. But this is, if you've all seen this before, it's Manuel Noriega, 1991. People are going, oh, is it Saddam Hussein? Oh, is it bin Laden? No, we've done this before. Noriega died in prison a few years ago as a drug lord dictator that they took out of power. And finally, one other factor, and I'm going to get to it quick, and then we can go back over the minutia. They appear to have negotiated him being captured, not his surrender. He didn't negotiate it. The opposition negotiated it. But who's the opposition? And here's my intelligence assessment. The Minister of Defense and the Minister of the Interior, right? Vladimir Pedrino Lopez, the Minister of Defense, right? And Desidero, what's his name? Cabello, the Minister of the Interior, both of whom are considered far hardliners than Maduro. And so they likely had him captured, packaged, neutralized his Cuban security guards. And when the Americans came into the perimeter, we shot up whatever was around the perimeter, landed, took him, and flew out. That's the only way we could do that in 28 minutes. You don't think that this guy didn't have 100 men around that compound? The only way to get him is when the compound belongs to the Minister of Defense, a soft coup d'etat. And we'll eventually find out that's what happened, because you can't tell me. I've been around all these special mission units, national mission units. We're good. Nobody's that good to go gun battling. I mean, how is this guy in his bed when 2,000-pound bombs are dropping literally everywhere? Right? Around his compound, Chinooks are flying in, gunships are shooting. This is one of the biggest.
We're not sleeping, but he's sleeping.
He was secured. This is my assessment. The Minister of Defense is the one who cut the deal that they're calling the opposition. And it's not for $50 million. $50 million's nothing.
No.
Nothing. He has control of every petrodollar in that state. He now can, whoever it is, whoever they left in power today, which right now appears to be both the Minister of Defense and the Minister of the Interior, they can actually make it worse for the Venezuelan public. But Trump only wanted one man, which means he's already negotiated the deal.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Malcolm, you are...
Oh, hold on. I got to get my popcorn.
Get your vodka.
I got this jam at Costco because I knew it was coming.
Smart Pop is so good. I got a big bag of it too. I should go get it and listen to you guys. It's time to get your popcorn ready.
Go on, let's hear you.
Lev, let's go. What
Tell
do you
me,
know?
Lev.
Because this doesn't happen in a vacuum. Malcolm's 100% right. But you got Russia and you got China on the periphery. They met with Chinese diplomats hours before he was captured. So what do you know, dude?
I mean, Malcolm is so on point. First of all, we can't see you, Dean. I don't know if it's a problem or you're just
I'll dump out. Re-invite me so you can get my camera.
Let me get Dean out and let's get Dean back. Just a little housekeeping because Dean, we need to see Dean's face on some of this stuff.
Oh, I'm waiting to hear. I'm waiting to hear your analysis.
I love it.
Get Dean back. There he is. There you go, Dean.
Look at these good-looking middle-aged gentlemen, huh?
So let's start off with this. First of all, Malcolm's 100% right. Without the Minister of Defense and Minister of people on the inside, I don't care how good we are. I'm not a military guy, but the fact to go in there and to take him out like this while supposedly he's sleeping with bombs going off, that's theatrics. As we said, I wrote in my Substack today, this was all theatrics. This was all being played out a few weeks ago. You heard Malcolm went on his live feed. Actually, I remember talking about that they're going to attack literally Christmas time, by New Year's, around that time, any day. And I confirmed it, and I said, Malcolm, yes, I'm hearing it any day. Literally, January 1st, while people were celebrating New Year's, I got a call and I wrote in my Substack letter to everybody that literally the plan was on. It was coordinated by Dmitriev, Kushner, from Mar-a-Lago, and Witkoff, with Trump overseeing it, with Putin leading it, that they were going to start putting heavy assault on Ukraine, which you're not hearing about. Ukraine right now is getting decimated. Kherson region, Odessa, railroads. You want to say something?
My guys in Ukraine took 2 Iskander missiles yesterday within 100 meters of them in downtown Kharkiv.
Thank you. Exactly. That's what I'm saying to you. And the media is not even talking about it. This is all part of none of this, just so you understand, I want to say, folks, is coincidence. None of it is by accident. This is all coordinated, like Trump's reality show. Basically, also, you have to keep in mind, and Malcolm will confirm, that not only did he have hundreds of men protecting him, but some of those men were Russian, Chinese, he had all kinds, Cuban. So
Cuban security.
Exactly. So you could. This was not. That's why it's 100%. You have to be a rocket scientist to understand that there was an inside job. They prepackaged them, let them go. So what I heard and what I was reported on is January 1st they had the conversation, and basically they were going to, not only Putin was going to press the pedal to the metal when it comes to Ukraine, but in the first week of January they were going to come out and strategically take out Maduro. Now, the other thing I'm hearing in my Venezuelan sources, this is the crazy. I mean, Trump already came out and said out loud, but literally that how about this? I'm going to even name you some of the, not today because I got to confirm it, but I'm going to name you some of the companies that are involved right now in taking over, and some of the Trump donors that are involved in taking over right now Venezuela, because Trump has just stated basically what we've been all stating, but I don't know how he's going to do it, but he stated that we right now run Venezuela. Did you see that? Trump said, this is Trump's words exactly. He said, we right now run Venezuela. We will run Venezuela until we will put a better, some sort of
proper transition can take place.
Yeah, proper transition. I just tweeted about this. Go ahead.
In the meantime, I'm sorry, Mark, but in the meantime, he said, we are going to send in all of our top companies in there to go in there and rebuild Venezuelan oil and make them the number one puppy. Go ahead, Malcolm. So,
I got a question. This is why I shouldn't eat popcorn. By the way, the reason I'm eating popcorn is I've been up since 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And other than coffee, I haven't had nothing. But also, I know your shit was going to be good. So I just stuffed my mouth with popcorn. Okay, let me get this straight. I got a question.
Yeah.
How exactly is the United States going to run Venezuela to a transition? They left the entire regime in power. Let me tell you something. This is why I know it was Lopez. Okay? 1 hour ago, Venezuelan F-16s and F-30, Su-30 aircraft started taking off to fly protective combat air patrols. That tells me they were stood down for this operation. No hot scrambles, no anti-aircraft guns, nothing, not one. The only shooting that happened at the Residencia, right? Which obviously bodyguards saw helicopters coming. Some guys decided to put some rounds into one of the Chinooks. They took a Chinook was damaged. So, and then of course we blasted them. So the Minister of Defense stood that country down. We did this before. You don't know it, but in the run up to the invasion of Iraq, Operation Iraqi Freedom, we texted 20 of the top Iraqi generals, 20 division commanders, and almost 500,000 men did not go to work the next morning. They all threw their uniforms off, walked away. Only the major fighting occurred in Baghdad by the regime loyalists. So Lopez stood down the army. It's pretty clear. Now he is in charge this morning. I saw his speech. He has control of the army.
You posted the speech. Yeah.
He posted the speech. He says he's in charge of the army. The army is to now stop foreign invaders. So explain to me, Trump thinks he now owns whoever is in charge. And here's another kicker. If Trump thinks that he's coming back with the Marines, with the army, he was allowed in. We were allowed in. Okay? Yes. We have the capability to do that stuff. But let me tell you something. If that was the case, you would have destroyed the entire Air Force. You would have sank the entire Navy. You would have destroyed we would be doing airstrikes for the next 5 days. But he didn't. So he thinks he controls whoever controls the country. He came out and said it out loud on Fox News this morning. He said it in his speech. This is about oil and opening Venezuela up for the oil companies. So there you go.
You're a fucking genius. The only thing I'm just gonna add to it, Malcolm, because I mean, first of all, folks, smash those hearts because the information you're getting here, you're not gonna get anywhere. Everybody else right now.
Wait, are you saying CBS News and Barry Weiss aren't going to do an honest job reporting on the intentions of how this will fucking
They are.
happen?
They're gonna go to a coffee house in Iowa in a county that voted 95% Trump and ask their opinion.
Well, let me.
That's what he said. He's going to start reporting for the simple Americans.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. But let me add something more to it because it's even more deal. Because Malcolm's right that but the reason why Trump and somebody said out there nothing of this is new. Well, we're going to give you some stuff that's new because this is obviously we've been talking about it. You guys have been seeing it. Now you're seeing the attack. But the coordination that happened and what you're playing and what Malcolm said, who's running the country. First of all, these are part of the same drug trafficking regime. Like I said, so to take us back for a second is Maduro is a bad dude. Maduro is a narco terrorist. Maduro is made a lot of people suffer. So should Maduro be out? Absolutely, but not the way we did it. So we're going to get back to the second because that's why there's international law, sovereign countries, all type of stuff. Same thing is like Trump threatening Iran for people protesting the wrong way. I mean, shit like that just doesn't go down. This was a coordinated thing, and Maduro's people, like you said, sold them out. They are in coordination with the Russians. That is why Trump is gonna, when he says he has control of Venezuela, he has control of Venezuela through the Russians. He thinks right now, which again he's being played because again this is all part of behind the scenes moving the oil and Trump is they're trying to divide the nation. But again, these what I'm hearing from my sources is they're in coordination with the people that sold Maduro out, the generals, I love it, with the Russians right now are giving Trump. That's why he even said that they're ready for a second wave if needed be, but he doesn't think there's going to be need to be a second wave, and they're already in control. The people that are in control, like you said, are the people like that that are still around the country. So if Trump, in his way, is basically telegraphing and telling you that they have some sort of, he thinks, some sort of deal plan. So again, he's also showing you that it was never about the drugs, because these are the same drug narco terrorists that could continue to. If it was about the drugs, just like Malcolm said, they would have went and taken out all of them. They would have taken out. They wouldn't have just taken Maduro in. The reason why this was a strategic plan to take Maduro, Trump needs this for he thinks it's a huge win for the Latin American
the
community.
optics. Yeah.
The optics of, because Maduro is a bad dude. You got people celebrating all over the streets in Florida, which, they have all the right to be because of process. So the optics of taking him out, but also the distraction from the Epstein files. Don't forget. It's also a huge way, it's a nothing burger, but now you got the media, you're going to watch this. They're going to bring him on a ship. They could have flew him in quickly, but they put him on a ship. They're going to bring him into New York. They're going to then figure out if he's going to be in New York or Florida. They're going to make this whole thing, Bondi, and it's all going to be a whole theatrics again to take out. Meanwhile, nothing's going to change in Venezuela. Nothing's going to change. If anything, you're going to see more of a corrupt system put in place, because you're going to see now Trump people and donors going to Venezuela. You already saw the Wall Street Journal breaking what we reported, that the Trump's donors through Witkoff and Kushner are talking about legitimizing Russian oil and Russian Nord Stream 2 and participate and maintain. And in Iran and China, this is the nucleus we've been all talking about. So the fact that this happened, A, nothing's going to change in Venezuela. B, except for we are going to go in and now partner up with the same narco terrorists supposedly that we're taking out, but now to partner up with them to run the oil gas. Because when Trump says we're running Venezuela, folks, we're not running the people. We're not running the economy. We don't have boots on the ground all over.
Energy, rare earth, man. That's it.
Yeah. The only thing Trump is saying we're running is oil. And that's part of the deal that was made, because even I remember in 2019, when I was involved in the first conversation, this was a big talk, part of a pitch that Trump's donors and some of these people's names I can't mention yet were pitching Trump, and we were pitching him that. And Trump said it just now, Venezuela, for a long time, because of their equipment, because of the sanctions, because of all of the years that they were no investments were going in, they were not capable of producing the oil and doing everything and the pitch to Trump was always that if we went in there with our technology, with the American companies, instead of Venezuela, not only would Venezuela would be huge for American economy, because it would be, but it would also, we would control one of the biggest, if not the biggest, source of oil in the hemisphere. So that was part of the plan in 2019, and you're seeing it now play out exactly in Trump saying it, because that's what's only going to change. Right now, you're going to see a tremendous all of a sudden, but it's going to be in partnership, because there's not going to be an election tomorrow held in Venezuela, folks. There's no boots on the ground where we've taken over and, all of it. The whole leadership's there. There's only one person missing. I'm sorry, two. Maduro and his wife, folks.
Right.
His wife. So I want to ask you, Malcolm. They took his wife. So you're saying that if Trump is going to go on the tribunal, Melania is going to go with him? I mean, like, what is that? I mean, is that typical? Is that typical where they take your wife with you?
No, but she was actually a Chavez loyalist back when Hugo Chavez was around. She was a lawyer on his legal team before she hooked up with Maduro, and I just found it fascinating. She has not been charged with anything.
No, they just kidnapped her. Yeah.
Which tells you
he
that
was charged in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, with almost everything that we've seen in these charges that they've alleged, right? So that's been 2020. Bad guy, get it. Chilia Flores just picked her up.
Flores has been charged with nothing, but this is another indicator that there was a negotiated departure.
Yeah, that's right.
But he didn't negotiate this departure. The departure was negotiated for him. And they wanted no remnant of his family there that could come back and challenge publicly the Minister of Defense, the Minister of the Interior, to say you sold out the country to America. And so the Chavistas, who are the hundreds of thousands of people that support Maduro, right? From the
Yep.
legacy of Hugo Chavez, those people now are going to wake up. They're all and I tell people, they're going to wake up. They're going to go have coffee. They're going to read the newspaper. They're watching television. They're going to go around and look at where the explosions were and everything. Maduro is gone, but their lives have not changed.
No.
So this is where it's going to come out that Trump was doing art of the deal. Now, I have to caution everybody, having been involved and collected on and supported soft coups before. This deal is only as good as the person you made it with.
That's
So
right.
if tomorrow, Cabello, the Minister of the Interior, who controls the militias, who controls a lot of, all of Maduro, he's the enforcer. If he decides that Lopez, Padrino Lopez sold them out, he could wake up just as dead, or he could wake up out of deposed by junior colonels who side with him. Now we are in the Latin American cycle of coup, counter coup, coup, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just surprised that we didn't have like some major in the army. They went straight to the top. They offered him not money. They offered him probably immunity. They wouldn't do anything to him. We just want to get oil back on board, which leads this guy to think I'm going to make billions.
Yeah.
Right? What do I care about a $50 million reward?
That's right.
That he coordinated and cooperated with them. All of the evidence is pointing to that, right? The Russians need leverage. So their leverage is they now get to tell Trump, you can do what you want there. It's your sphere of influence, but you're going to give us what we want in our negotiations in Ukraine. Or we could just drop the dime that you cut this deal, right? So Trump loves, as you know, he loves the idea that he's done something other people can't do, and he's done it. Unfortunately now, if the welfare of the people on the ground, oh, by the way, Machado, if Maria Machado shows up back there, and she could be welcomed with open arms, she could be carrying her Nobel Prize back there, and they could kill her at the airport, right?
Yeah.
And say, well, it reminds me of that great line from Christopher Walken's movie, Dogs of War, right? Where Walken overthrows a government for this corporation. And he's sitting there and they bring in the African general that's going to take over. And the guy from the corporation comes in and says, wait, we bought this country. And Walken takes out the gun, shoots the guy and goes, buy it again.
Great fucking movie, by the way.
I mean,
I gotta ask you guys.
Don't these people watch movies? This is how coups occur. Lopez could fuck Trump right now. He could mobilize the army, put the military on a war footing, break out weapons and equipment, and go, no, you're negotiating with me. Buy this shit again, right? Yeah. I control this country, and next time it's going to look like Black Hawk Down. I let you in this time. Next time, we're going to shoot down everything that moves.
So I have a couple questions for both of you guys, because what you're doing is you're letting people on the inside of, the operational success thereof of what happened. You're talking about how it happened in 28 minutes. Malcolm, Lev, both of you guys are saying that this was pre-coordinated with Lopez in Venezuela. His defense secretary, the guy who's now in charge of the country, that's sort of the working of the structure of Venezuela. But a couple of very serious superpowers had to move the fuck out of the way for this to happen, right? All I heard was the fucking narrative going into the possibility that Trump was going to invade Venezuela for regime change, for oil, whatever. The rhetoric ahead of that was China was like, we've got Venezuela's back. We've got Maduro's back. You saw, plane after plane after plane of Russian equipment, Iranian equipment flooding into Venezuela ahead of time. So was that all fucking theater? Was this all predetermined?
This is all theater. Absolutely.
theater, yeah.
It's we've been talking about this. This is all theater. It's been predetermined. Part of the stuff you're not hearing also is that Trump has said one of, I think, the oil tankers he's given to China, saying let China have some oil now.
Oh, dude, it gets better than that. I'll read it to you. This is what
Please,
Trump
please,
said this morning.
please,
Yeah.
please. This is before we get, because this is hilarious, but this is really serious, because this is
Yeah.
just more validation of what we're telling you right here. This is all coordinated, as you know. This is all serious between three major powerhouses. You have Russia, you have China, and America. But America not as a good guy. America wearing a dictatorship, authoritarianship hat in this global
Yep.
dissections. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to posit a question to both of you with similar comparisons. Okay,
Indeed,
so yeah,
indeed. Before you go, I just want to say,
yeah,
well, we have a little over 2,000 people right now. It's keep hitting those hearts, because we're just getting started. A lot of breaking news for all of you paid subscribers. You know, this is your time. If you have any questions for me, Malcolm, Dean, please put it in there. Dean will ask it. Also,
yep.
later on today will be an extended version. So later on, we will go more questions, bring you up. But while we have Malcolm, as long as we have him, I want to make sure, because this is a special edition, breaking news. You're getting information from people that really are not just pundits, but lived it, know it, and that's why it's important. Go ahead, Dean. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, don't be sorry. No, I'm glad you laid that out.
And
Yeah.
last before least, make sure you hit that little Chiron up there and cross-pollinate. It's very important right now because of what we're doing in the new year. You know what? As I've been telling you, we're no longer just talking. We're taking talk and turning into action. We're going out there and we're taking our democracy back. So very important. Hit that little purple or gray or whatever color it is up there in the left corner. You see Dean, Lev, Malcolm, the Black Spy. Make sure you subscribe. Subscriptions are for free, but make sure the algorithms, they make sure they expand to our voices. And those of you that can, become paid subscribers, because we don't do this for fun on a Saturday. We don't have paywalls. We're doing this because we're trying to save our democracy, and your support allows us to do it. So God bless each and every one of you. Now let's rock and roll, Dean.
Okay, buddy. All right, I appreciate you.
Tell us what this maniac.
You can say we're not doing this for fun, but I'm on a Saturday with my man Malcolm and Lev. This is a great time. Don't worry about it. But to your point, people had to move aside. So China rhetoric, we're going to bomb America. We're going to help Venezuela. This morning, this is an hour and a half ago, just in, President Trump said China will get Venezuelan oil due to his, quote, great relationship with President Xi. I mean, so there's that. But listen, is Venezuela, or is America to Venezuela what Russia is to Ukraine and what China is to Taiwan at the moment? I mean, are these just three properties that each one of these dickheads want? Get on the phone. Guys, listen, here's what we're going to do. Is that what we're looking at? Is everybody moving aside for the empirical dreams of each individual leader of each one of these axes of evil? Sorry to call your country that, but that's the way that your president's taking it right now.
Hey, by the way, I wrote a book called The Plot to Destroy Democracy, How Putin and his spies, cyber spies, are dismantling the West, right? I called it the axis of autocrats. That's what's going on here, and it's a global phenomenon. I'll go ahead and let Lev answer that question, but this is not U.S. Venezuela is Russia to Ukraine. That would be the U.S. invading Canada or Greenland.
That's right.
Right? And he's threatened both. So, but this is just an hors d'oeuvre. But the problem, I just find it hilarious that he actually thinks he can control what goes on in that country without one American soldier on the ground.
It's hilarious. I mean, if it wasn't so serious, it would be, like I said, we wouldn't believe that this is really happening. But Malcolm's right. This is a little different than Ukraine to Russia, because remember, Putin wants to bring back the Soviet Union. He wants to take over strategically land and also, oil, minerals, but also the imperial Eastern European bloc of gas and oil. For Donald Trump, it's more literally strategically oil. I mean, right now, the way he's looking at it is like he's really looking at, because, remember, his whole platform is making gas prices cheaper, doing all the, and the three right now that we've been talking about for months and months and months since he's come into power, from the shadow fleas, even think about what transpired the past couple of weeks. We were chasing a Venezuelan ship. And then all of a sudden they changed flags and said we're not longer.
Ain't it a Russian?
We're putting a Russian flag, and we stopped. We stopped chasing it. I mean, like,
It's a joke.
That's what I'm saying to you. I just want you to understand. It's like, if you look at these little things, I know we laugh at, but it's. I mean, this is reality. And all of a sudden, we stop chasing it because now Russian. Today, what do we watch play out? I mean, if you take a look at, take away all of the real things and look at what really happened. Maduro is very defiant. He tells Trump to go screw himself. Why? Because he's getting China, Russia's telling him, we got you, brings in more supports, Cuba's behind him, his own people behind him, he's all defiant. Goes out there, meets a Chinese delegation. The Chinese, this is a very important part. The Chinese delegation doesn't even leave. Think about it.
They're still there. They met with him hours before he got picked up.
This is very important. And Malcolm will tell you, because, if there was a real attack, we would have warned China. I mean, there would have been some, because could have been, think about if we all of a sudden wiped out the Chinese delegation while we're trying to take Maduro. This would be, we'll let Malcolm answer. So all of this was really planned strategically, worked out, and it started January 1st with those phone calls to put into play to be able to right now, because what's happening, folks, on January 5th? January 5th, the Congress is coming back into session. And what is the number one thing on the plate that's right now destroying all of MAGA, all of Trump, all of everything? It is the Epstein fund. Thank you, boys. Thank you so much for that. And that's why you're seeing this play out today. And that's why, like Malcolm said, if we were really going in there to change something, we would have went in there, blew out their whole army. We could have, you would have seen a real, like, a strike go out there and take it out. This was strategically, and we've been talking about it, because all Trump needed is the press releases. He got Maduro. So think about it. He
got the picture of Maduro in handcuffs being led away from the plane. I mean, that was it. That was why he did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now he's going to run with it for the next couple of months. He thinks, yeah, go ahead, Malcolm, go ahead.
I find it fascinating that Trump, here's what he's going to do, because I got this from you and talking to you and Michael. He's going to literally say, I shit you not, that the drug war is over.
Yeah.
Don't be drinking as I'm starting this, because you're going to spit it out. All right. The drug war is over. They got the kingpin who is responsible for what he called 300,000 deaths per year. Right? And, and it's amazing, because I went and did some statistics. In 2023, the last year that they gained the statistics, 72,600 deaths in the United States from overdoses were fentanyl. Right? Fentanyl.
Yep.
22,000 of overdoses, gang violence, whatever you want to call it, came from cocaine. Right? Fentanyl comes from Mexico and China. And in his remarks, he made comments like, well, we may have to do something about Mexico. But he is going to claim that Maduro was the cause of all drugs and overdose in America, and that it's over, and that no one will die now, and there is no drugs coming into America. He will lie his ass off to the public and swear up and down, when in fact, since 1999, the Sackler family alone was responsible for 1 million Oxycontin overdoses and deaths in America. 1 million. Are you seeing us launch Tomahawk missiles into freaking Ohio or Indiana or wherever it is that those people are? No. He has chosen which drug dealers he wants to deal with.
Yeah.
By the way, Colombia, Bolivia, and Peru are the top 3 manufacturers of cocaine, of cocaine paste. Right? The biggest transshipper is Colombia. Okay? And the Colombian, by the way, they have great armed forces, because we were training and equipping them to fight the FARC guerrillas, right? The communist guerrillas, who, by the way, have all displaced into Venezuela. So what I don't know what he's going to do, but I wouldn't be surprised if he stopped sinking drug boats. If he says
Yeah.
the whole war is over, that
I did it.
if you watch
Mission
the Tom
accomplished.
Clancy movie, some of what is it? Clear and Present Danger. The president in that story and the chief of staff of the president cut a deal with the Cuban intelligence officer who promised he would reduce drug transshipments by 50% for the first year, promised that they would have double the number of seizures, and he would give up the Pablo Escobar guy in the movie. And if it wasn't for Harrison Ford, there would have been an awesome deal. Right? But that's what Trump has done.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out that he is working with that. Look, he may have just completely empowered Trenda Aragua as a new political power within Venezuela.
Well, I gotta ask you a couple questions, because the drug thing is his trigger, right? You know, if it's Canada, hey, Canada, the fentanyl drugs, national security emergency, need to invade Canada. Mexico,
3 pounds of drugs.
Yeah, we get literally 20 times the amount of fentanyl and cocaine and guns, by the way, coming into Canada than go into the United States from Canada. So, like, it's all a joke. It's all a lie. Tulsi Gabbard said at the DNI in that hearing, and then Trump was like, I don't give a fuck what she says. But this is the pretext for everything that this dickhead does, right? It's drugs, national security emergency. And so a couple of things don't match up. He says Nicolas Maduro is the world's worst narco-terrorist, and he's going to announce the end of the drug trade. He's not, but he just literally let go one of the kingpins of the Sinaloa cartel, who happened to be the president of fucking Honduras, who was supposed to be in jail for 45 fucking years. So that doesn't make any sense to me, but the pretext does, because what he did in Venezuela is sending shockwaves into Canada this morning. I had a conversation with a couple of friends of mine. Malcolm, you've maintained this for a long period of time. Trump's not done with Canada either. I mean, where do we sit, and where does Greenland sit? Because I don't see a lot of dope coming in from nuke Greenland. But I mean, he can continually lie and continually posit the same, concerns for Americans, and tell them that he's cured the human trafficking or fentanyl river, and Canada's run by the Mexican cartel. I mean, it's always the same playbook. But how does this escalate into other countries? Like, should Canada be concerned this morning, Malcolm?
I saw a lot of MAGA comments this morning that were like, Greenland's next. It made Greenland trend. And as you know, I was in Greenland this year. And I had a lot to say about it in Danish television. I didn't do it sole-handedly, but me and 2 other people got, put out enough information in 1 week that the Danish government decided to arm Greenland. There's Danish special forces there now, as I recommended, a multi-role capable warship, as I recommended, F-16s being based out of Kajluswak, as I recommended, and opening the country up to doing joint Arctic operations with France and Britain, so that there is always an armed NATO presence in there, as I recommended, and that they station a light infantry company. I recommended Danish Marines, but they're stationed in Nuuk, in the capital now, because prior to that, there were only 40 cops with handguns. Now there is an armed presence. You can't seize Nuuk, right, and not get shot at. Oh, not to mention they bought in special operations helicopters in there. They did all of that in a matter of weeks after I was on Danish national TV recommending they do all that. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that Trump is now still listening to Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and David Sachs and all these crazy guys who want to take Greenland and turn it into a massive AI data center because it's over fresh ice, a mile deep. But, that's part of that crazy right-wing Curtis Yarvin Technit of America bullshit that also involves seizing Canada. And I've said this on CBC and the Globe television. When he said annex, what does that mean? That you suddenly stop singing "O Canada" and swear to the Constitution of the United States? It requires physical presence in your country. And the only way that that's going to happen is, I mean, he had a fantasy in his head from someone that you would collapse economically and beg to become part of the United States. That's mental illness. It's mental illness. There's 42 million Canadians.
Yeah.
And there's a boatload of guns here. But, you know, it's in their minds that they are now an imperial power and they will start taking things. I mean, you just may as well line up. I'll bet you they all start wearing white stormtrooper uniforms now. Right?
I mean, listen. Donald Trump said, you know, it's only an imaginary line. Look how beautiful the piece of land would look together if you took that imaginary line away. It would be such a beautiful piece.
That's mental illness,
right? And his head is an imaginary line. It's not a sovereign country. It's an imaginary line.
Let me warn them that this place is the fucking ice planet of Hoth. Okay, I went to
where are you in Canada right now?
I'm in the Laurentians. I'm just outside of Montreal, and it's minus 25 last night Celsius, which is 17 degrees below zero. Greenland is 20 degrees warmer than Montreal. So,
right now.
I mean, this stuff is crazy town. No one's going to be doing any of this, but it's in his head. And when that first meeting, when Trudeau came back and said, these fuckers are serious about invading Canada. He didn't use the word invasion. He used annexation. But how do you annex Canada without invading? Right?
Well, and how do you annex Canada? How do you without invading? And then on top of it, you know, we're not a dictatorship. We're not a you know what I mean? Like we're the world's best friend. And so what he's going to do is he just going to walk into the country and Britain and France and everybody are just going to sit there and go, there's nothing we could do about it. That is not going to fucking happen. We've got a French warship off the coast of Halifax right now, babysitting our fucking intentions. And, you know, Mark Carney just started a 300,000 person civilian military conscription army. Mark Carney is also trying very desperately to get people to buy into the idea that here in Canada, you need to take it seriously. That, you know, between what's going on in Alaska, what's going on to the south of us, to the north of us, what's going on in the Arctic. I mean, the push for Mark Carney and the rest of the military and our unity is all in the Arctic, but it's in our fucking borders, and we've never had any threats at our fucking borders until now. And when you read the tea leaves about conscription,
General Green and Benedict Arnold thing.
But
that was 1775.
Yeah.
You know, but this country, the land, you know, it's like Vietnam. The land will defeat you.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
I have a question.
Welcome back, Connor. Go ahead. Or Shaq, go ahead.
That makes me feel so old right now.
We're all old.
Oh, Mr. Carter.
For all of you that remember, welcome back, Carter. So I have some more news for you guys.
Please.
While we were talking here, Trump continued babbling on, and let me give you some stuff that you missed from it. I'm gonna do a whole letter. We're all gonna update you guys on this, but. So Trump was asked some questions, and the first thing he did is he threw the Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado right under the bus.
You know why? She said she dedicated it to him, but she didn't give it to him. You buy a country, it comes in gold,
like a FIFA peace trophy. Yeah.
I mean, more validation. Exactly what we're all talking about here, folks. So he was asked whether she would run Venezuela. So, quote, Donald Trump said, "She doesn't have the respect of the people there."
Didn't she win the election by a fucking landslide?
I shit you not. Lopez has had a secret call with Trump.
No, I'm telling you, Malcolm, this is me on Lopez.
Cameras all fucked up.
I'm telling you, this is when this shit gets uncovered.
She doesn't have the respect. Boom.
So let us continue.
Yeah,
So
please.
remember, we saw the same pattern with Guaido. In the first, remember, I was involved with Maduro. I also, a lot of people don't know, but I was in Spain with Guaido's father and Rudy Giuliani, and we were having video conversations with Guaido and Trump behind Pompeo's back to be able to figure out what the hell is going on. So this is the type of shit that goes on. But anyway, moving forward, Trump said the U.S. will continue running Venezuela until we figure out who gets into power. And then the question was, so what country is next? Will it be Cuba? So Marco Rubio signaled it in his remarks. That has been a long time coming. Then what? Trump responded, maybe Panama, maybe Greenland.
Again, what the fuck? The fuck?
So, I mean, Greenland is definitely on the plate, folks.
Yeah.
He really wants the Panama Canal back. He can't believe Jimmy Carter gave it away for it.
Okay, I'm going to give
All
you
those
guys.
Jimmy
I'm going to
Carter
tell you
grievances.
guys something straight up. All right.
All right, Malcolm, go.
Okay, first off, I went down the entire Greenland coast, navigable coast, in late winter. Right, I went in March, April. 12 hours on one leg of my trip. We bumped against icebergs the entire time. 12 non-stop hours hitting icebergs on the hull of the ship, and that was the good times. That country is so vast. It's 12 hours. It's literally 1,000 miles over a 1 mile deep sheet of ice with no inhabitations from Nuuk to the U.S. base, which is way in the north, right? 1,000 miles. You got to fly through Canadian airspace to get to that place. And did I mention that every person has a high-powered rifle? Literally 35,000 inhabitants of the city of Nuuk have high-powered 303 or higher. I had when I was there, I was preparing to go caribou hunting. I bought for my friend not a 300 Win Mag. What was it? 6.5 Creedmoor. That's now the standard special operations sniping bullet. Of same weapon, you could shoot out to 1,500 yards, no questions asked. And these guys were bonking 20, 30 caribou at a pop. Every one of them has these weapons and knows how to use them. There is no history of them learning or fighting against each other. But almost to a man, they said that they would make it insanely unpleasant for Greenland. I have this picture of my friend Orla Yolson with his fuck around, find out flag that they put out for the protest against America. Look, Greenland ain't someplace you can just go to and take. There's an indigenous population. It'll be freaking like Avatar, right?
Yeah.
There's no warrior class until you create a warrior class.
Well, and the question I have for you, Malcolm, is does the American military machine have the ability to fight in that kind of sustained cold and that kind of environment even? Like, that's the question.
They would have to do it in June. I wouldn't be surprised if they... But the point is that you got to spool up to that, right? Like, if you deploy these Marines off of Greenland, Denmark's going to deploy anti-shipping missiles, right? You're going to have a NATO versus United States confrontation. French submarines will come out. This is crazy talk and I said this last year on Danish television, their version of 60 Minutes. It's crazy we're even talking about this.
That's the
but
sick part.
Trump keeps putting crazy on the table for Elon Musk and all these other guys.
Well,
go on.
No, I was gonna say crazy, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is the new world we live in. The crazy
with a capital K.
is the capital K, and
Maybe 3 of them.
It's in reality. And I want to make sure. I just want to give a little bit of housekeeping quickly. We have about 3,000 people here. Everybody, make sure go out there and hit that little Chiron, cross pollinate. Make sure subscribe to Malcolm, Dean, myself. The information today is a special coffee and tea with Lev and Dean. Usually it's a lot more relaxed, but today we have a lot of breaking news. We haven't slept all night. We have
Trump invaded Venezuela and kidnapped the president and his wife. It's a very special coffee and tea.
It's a special coffee and tea. Nothing crazy. A regular Saturday morning. But I want to make sure to just give you a heads up. We are going to have the full. We're going to prolong it after because Malcolm is giving us some special time. Once Malcolm's done, we'll bring you guys up with questions and stuff.
Yeah.
And we will talk about before you go. The one thing I do want to talk about is something else. So broke about, which we will talk about today, is Trump's health. The one thing that
he looked terrible this morning.
Low energy, stumbling, couldn't finish a fucking
situation room eating donuts.
I've never seen anything like it.
Well, I just want to tell you guys, and for those of you that have not, make sure go yesterday, last night, literally at 11 o'clock at night, after getting off the phone with some of my sources, I wrote about Trump's health and what is going on. First of all, the fact that they have not been talking about it, I couldn't get anybody to leak. They would leak anything, but literally nobody would talk about his health, was giving me first a little insight that there was something going on. Then I got some news that he was getting IV being put in, and that's why you're seeing the black and blues. Then what's it called? We were hearing about you start seeing all of his dementia. I mean, the way he's been talking, people talk about dementia. And then I had, some of my subscribers on, and they were talking about, some of them are professional doctors, and in the back, and they were talking about some of this stuff, this experimental, drugs that are being used and stuff like that. So I made some phone calls, looked into it, spoke to some of my sources, and, so we're not going to diagnose him, but what some of them are saying, it looks like that he is getting IV infusion drugs. Something called Kisunula.
Kinsula is the name of the drug.
Donanemab or Lexanamab. I'm not good with the pronunciation.
Okay.
But these are medications that are not casual treatments, folks, and it connects the dots because one of the part when you take these drugs, they require regular infusions, which is why we're seeing the black and blues, but also careful monitoring and MRI oversight because of the neurological.
Every 3 months. Every 3 months.
So now it connects the dots. They also, the side effects, it talks about confusion, worsening cognitive, sometimes temporarily, sometimes longer, personality, behavior changes,
disinhibition,
impulse control, memory loss, mood swing. I mean, everything we've been watching play out in the past 3, 4, 5 months, or as long that once we started seeing the major notices of those blood clots on his hand, we've been looking into it. So his health is definitely, and that is why also, Wajahid Ali, when we do the left hook with Waj, he keeps mentioning all the time, Lev, what's with his health? What's with his health? And he keeps saying, I'm going to give it to him. His health is a lot worse. And that's why you see people like Stephen Miller, Russell Vaught in the background pushing harder and harder through some of these ironic policies to push in because they don't know how long he's going to be around. That's why we're seeing all of these things play out like at such a hyper-paced speed.
Yeah. Malcolm, Lev, thanks. I appreciate that because what you've done is you've given credence to something that we all knew. It's almost like the Venezuela thing or the Russia abandoning Ukraine thing. Words never match works, and our eyes don't lie. What we see is what we see. And every medical professional I've talked to, including a doctor who actually works specifically with geriatric patients, said indeed that's a drug probably called Kinsula. Kinsula has to be administered on a regular basis, and you will experience severe bruising because of it, and then they'll have to move hands. If you've noticed, Trump's left hand is now the injection site. That has started to bruise. What it comes with is 3 to 4 MRIs per year, to check to see if the proteins involved in what's going on in the patient that has severe Alzheimer's is progressing or not. Kinsula does not stop or reverse. It just prevents symptoms from getting worse for a short period of time. But what happens with that is you develop major swelling. It's difficult for your blood to clot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that seems to be the working theme without a diagnosis. And the disinhibition's another thing, right, Malcolm? You're a military guy, the commander in chief without the ability. I mean, the guy's got fucking shit judgment to begin with. Throw in some dementia and disinhibition. How you feeling if you follow the commander in chief into war?
Well, there's a lot of guys out there who they just like the bombs, guns, and helicopter rides. They love the appearance of this. I call what happened today MAGA-tainment, and that it was done because they like, these are the guys who go to the Super Bowl or football games. They like to see the B-2 fly over or the helicopters fly over, and they don't seem to understand or care about the risk. But I can make a diagnosis of Trump right now as a professional. Trump has a bad case of what we call BBC, which stands for bitch be crazy.
It could also be very bad body odor or something like that.
Or if I was from Scotland, I could say bitch be C word.
Yeah. Well, dude, listen, he's crazy to begin with. In normal times, like let's go back 2016, 2017, where you could put a sentence together. The disinhibition aspect of dementia is a very fucking serious issue, right? Like, there are CEOs that are removed from their positions because they have dementia that they tried to hide. Then they start snapping at people, calling stewardesses and reporters piggy, telling everybody to shut the fuck up, and then letting the cat out of the bag, right? Like delivering trade secrets. That's all I've seen Trump do over the past, I don't know how long. Like even today, he's like, yeah, we're going to stay and probably run Venezuela. We're going to throw some companies in there. We're only there for the oil. That's our land. Like that's quiet part out loud shit.
Yeah, well.
Listen, I mean that's the world we live in, folks. But listen, Malcolm, I love you, my brother. I want to thank you so much for coming on.
So great to see you, man. Thank you, and thanks for coming to Canada. By the way, Canada's better with you in it.
New Year's with my in-laws and everything, and it's a frosty place.
I feel safer with you in Canada, Malcolm. I just want you to know that.
Lev, so I'll see you later, right?
Well, yeah, no, I just want to say before you go, I want to tell everybody here, first of all, Malcolm has been up since 2 a.m. He's been doing show after show, and he especially made time. He said, I'm going to give an hour to our community here on Substack because right now there's nobody out there breaking the news that we're giving you, the inside information we're giving you. So I hope everybody on a Saturday understands what's happening. Make sure, go cross-pollinate, subscribe to Malcolm, subscribe to Dean. Like I said, this is the year of action.
All of my subs subscribe to Malcolm Nance.
Absolutely.
Right
now. If you press that little gray button at the top that says Lev Parnas and Dean Blundell, it'll pop up on the bottom and you hit subscribe.
Boom.
All three of them.
And just like that, you're there. And believe me, the information you're gonna get is you're not gonna get anywhere else. So Malcolm, my brother, I love you. We'll be on the phone. Things will be breaking. We'll be getting on. So stay tuned, folks. Keep your subscription on and make sure give Malcolm a follow. Stay safe.
Thank you, my friend.
I'll talk to you later. Take care, brother.
Bye.
There you go. Yeah, no one can make the scariest shit sound more fun than Malcolm.
Malcolm is just incredible. I mean, people gotta understand. I mean, like Malcolm has literally. Sometimes we forget because we do these lives, but and we get so regular, people forget who some of these people are. Malcolm Nance served this country for over 40 years or something like that. I mean, he's a real spy. I mean, he speaks several languages. He's been in Iraq. He's been in Iran. He's been there in the fight. He's been in Ukraine. Fought for a lot. I mean, he's put his life, his family his father, grandfather. I mean, this is a person that's given his whole life and has information. But this is the key, is because what I talk about is factual information, not some pundit that's just going to come out here and give you his opinion. Malcolm gives you, he's written over 4 books, and one of his books is actually being used in the military. Well, was
It's a
used until
military
Trump.
textbook.
Right.
Yeah.
Until Trump got there. Trump, I don't think, are using it. Right. They threw out all the military books. But I'm saying to you, so it's extremely, so when we do these lives, it's because it's to make sure that you guys get informed to the best knowledge of what's happening now. And that is what you got right now. For those of you that came in late, we are going to put this out there to make sure so you can rewatch it. Make sure you spread it out to everybody to watch. But I think for the next 45 minutes or as long as we could do, I think let's now do some maybe Q&As. Let's see if
Yeah.
maybe we can get 1 or 2 people up here that if they want to come up, if they have something they want to do, because it's about, remember, at the end of the day, it's about you folks. It's about you paid subscribers, all you subscribers there. Not only are we building this community, this family, this movement, but we're also, now, like I said, this year, we always talk about, one of my famous lines is, don't look at what they say, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. Well, now we're going to turn it on us, because enough talking. Now we're going to go into action. And that's why we got the GoFundMe set up. That's why it's so important for you guys to become paid subscribers, to Dean, to myself, to Malcolm, to people like that, to be able to go out there, and also independent journalists. And I'm going to do a shout out to my son, Aaron. Today, earlier, he was the first one on early in the morning, breaking the news of what was going on in Venezuela.
Yeah, he killed it this morning. He was so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and compared to, as you can see, real news, not the stuff that you're seeing, the same thing regurgitated and others. So independent journalism is extremely important, and that's why you guys need to follow. So Dean, and then I got a special surprise at the very end, so stay tuned. Do not leave.
Are you going to show more pictures, dude?
Well, you never know what the surprise could be. But I do have a special surprise, so nobody leave. Make sure you stay towards the end, because you're going to be happy. Something because there's a lot of bad happening, but we need one of the things that this year is new to our world is we're gonna use positive energy to overshadow the negative stuff, and we're gonna go positive and keep positive even with the bad stuff happening, to make sure that we can overcome, succeed.
Oh, I know what the surprise is now, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to say anything. Okay, good. I won't say anything. Okay, question, Q&A portion. We got some people that have some questions for Lev Parnas. Put them in the DMs, everybody, if you can here, or in the chat. If you're a paid sub, you're always welcome to ask questions. First question, and I think this is a really interesting one. Darlene, she says, quote, thought Trump was the peacetime president. Turns out he's bombed more sovereign countries than any president in the history of the United States after yesterday. And that was part of the, if you remember, this is part of the draw of MAGA, and this was part of his thing. He's like, he told his MAGA base, I'm never going to start a war. I'm never going to go to war. I'm the peacetime president, da-da-da-da-da. How is this playing in MAGA land, Lev? What are you hearing?
Oh, great question. And I've been speaking to some of my sources, literally in MAGA all over the country, and I could tell you they're not happy. People in Idaho, Kentucky are not happy, don't care about Venezuela, do not want their soldiers fighting there, do not want this going on. And it's another rift. It's another part of, what Trump is basically doing. He's covering up what's worse. For him, the worst thing possible is obviously the Epstein files. So he's giving, to cover the Epstein files, he's going after, Maduro and he thinks he could cover it up by feeding the base dollars and cents. A part of this whole thing, Trump thinks if he could lower gas prices, that will solve all the problems. And obviously, by controlling the oil circle, worldwide, gives him a lot of control over the gas prices. But also, Trump believes that the press releases and the news that we got Maduro making him out to be some sort of, because remember, majority of Trump's base is not educated people. They're not, in tune with.
He loves the poorly educated, Lev. Yeah.
Right. So they're not going to go out, so they don't know the history as much of Venezuela, what's going on. These are people that are going to read the headlines on Fox, on right-wing media, where it's going to be Chiron saying that we got Maduro and his wife, without losing one soldier, we're strategic, we got the best army, and people like that are like rah, 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 getting them up. So this is a coordinating attack by trying to A, take the oil, B, working with the Russians, but C, as everything else we've seen from the beginning as he came into presidency, everything has to distract from the Epstein files. So yes, these are all important and serious things. I mean, people probably died today in Venezuela. We haven't had reports, but I mean, we've had serious strikes.
I saw a report earlier. It said over 100 people dead.
There you go. Over 100 people dead. Lives have been destroyed. And again, the way what's taking place is again all for theatrics to be able to do a show.
Okay, dude, that's fucking huge. Because this goes one of two ways, right? Malcolm said it a little bit earlier, where he was like, "Yeah, some guys just like rides in helicopters and shooting shit," right? So that's going to apply to people who aren't in the military as well. The rah guys, yeah, America's back. Yeah, we took out a narco terrorist, and sure, he's a narco terrorist under the guise of a lie. Next question that I have from Darbird, who's a regular contributor, fan of ours, subscriber to both of ours. Lev, who's next?
Well, I don't think you're going to see really a next right now. I know
Mexico, no Panama, no.
No, I don't think you're going to see that play out that quickly. I think they're going to right now. What you're going to see a lot of movement and happening. They're going to use the Maduro, bringing him to the United States as to try to use a news cycle for a while by bringing him, by adding, all of these press releases. They got him on a boat. Right now, they're going to bring him to New York. Also, you're going to see a lot of things, as I reported on, and some of the things I wrote in my January 1st letter, not only about the attack on Venezuela, which just transpired, but also you're going to see in the next a few weeks, a major push to normalize Russian oligarchy with American oligarchy money. You're going to see, and then there's one name I want to also throw out there for you people, like when I do with the Dan Bongino, I'm going to give you guys a name right now. You could Google it. You could take a look. Very important. But this is somebody through how Trump is trying to control a lot of the stuff. So there's a gentleman by the name of Gentry Beach. Beach, Beach, Gentry, Geentry. I know, when I was in his first administration, I met him, met his family at a lot of the events. He happens to be Don Jr.'s college buddy. Back in the first administration, I remember them trying to do some business and bringing him into the White House, dealing with Trump directly. I think if I'm correct, I'm almost 100% sure, I'll say 99, that the Wall Street Journal also reported on him being part of the talks, being involved in the Nord Stream 2 project in Russia. And you will see
he's the point person for the Trump family, Gentry Beach, and leads right back to Donald Jr. Yeah,
Trump Jr., correct. He's one of the names that I'm going to throw it out there. Watch that space. I'm going to give you some more names as this is breaking. And like I said, I'm going to later today put another Substack letter adding more information on some of the stuff that's happening. But Gentry Beach is part, this is another major way of them taking over. You'll see names also like my ex-partner, Harry Sargent, somebody that was involved in the first. Maduro used to call him his nephew. Would not be surprised if he was involved with Rick Grenell and others as far as actually getting information over to where Maduro was, besides the Russians, because a lot of people, another name I'll throw out there that's part of this is Alejandro Betancourt, that currently is in exile in Spain, used to be support Maduro after Chavez, then flipped sides and started supporting Guaido, and that's whose castle me and Rudy were at when we were meeting with Guaido's father back in Spain back in the first administration. So there's a lot of moving parts right now. There's a lot more happening with what's going on with Venezuela, but I truly believe that they're gonna. I don't think you're gonna see attacks like we've seen in Venezuela. This was coordinated for the oil. This was coordinated part of what's happening in Russia, Ukraine, and China, and Iran. The other stuff. Remember, Trump thinks he still has 3 years to go. So right now the concentration is going to be to use this, and it's interesting and that's why I can't wait to speak to some of my sources and see how this is what hearing about how this is playing out. Because again, remember, the one thing Trump is gearing up for, which besides everything else that is on his mind, besides the health, besides the power, the oil, the business, his dealings, the Epstein files, everything, the number one thing Trump is and his team, controlled by Stephen Miller, Russell Vought, are concerned about, folks, is the midterm elections.
Mm-hmm.
That is the number one thing that is on their mind. And not only the midterm elections, I'm going to tell you this much, they are freaking out and worried about what's going to come into what happens in Congress. And that is why we've seen these attacks. Very important. The reason you saw this happen today and not a week from now and not a month from now, it's not coincidence. It's specific because Congress comes into session January 5th.
5th, yeah.
Today is January 3rd. In 2 days, Congress comes into session, and the first thing on their plate was supposed to be the Epstein files. My sources tell me that there's already impeachment documents that are being prepared against Pam Bondi and others to try to unite. I'm hearing that people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and others are planning on not showing up in Congress. Besides retiring, some are just, remember, 4
Quiet
votes.
quitting. Yeah, I read that yesterday too. There's going to be about 12 to 15 Republican GOP House members that are just going to quiet quit. They're not going to show up to vote. Yep.
Exactly. And if you see that happens, all you need is 4, and all of a sudden Hakeem Jeffries gets the gavel, the
He's the guy.
Democrats, and all of a sudden we don't have to wait till the midterms, and Trump understands this. So to unite the base, he thinks this is a win for Congress, that he's strategically, because what the media is reporting to you, and you'll see this, you'll see the shift. The media is saying that we attacked the country, we started war, Congress wasn't notified, all of this, which is true, 100%. But the way they're going to frame it, and the way you're going to see the Republicans come out, and you heard it here first, I already hear it in the rumblings from the conversations, is that this was a strategical strike that was coordinated by our DOJ and our police force to take out a criminal that we did not take out.
They didn't call it a military operation. They called it a law enforcement operation. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Exactly. You got it right there, Dean. Folks, this is exactly what Dean, that's what I'm trying to say to you. So they're strategically going to frame it that this was not, this was a police operation. They got the criminal. That's why they didn't take anybody else. They got Maduro. They had a warrant for his arrest. But it's curious to see, because I'm sure if we take a look at the indictment in 2020, it doesn't probably just include Maduro. I'm sure it includes a lot of his generals, and it includes a lot of also people in his group. I'm sure that it's a broader indictment.
Yeah, it was 7 co-conspirators, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, to your point.
And that's a very important point, because those co-conspirators were not picked up in this
They're
raid.
still there. Yeah, just him and his wife.
They're actually right now are going to be running the country. These are the so when Malcolm says, there was people on the inside, and I'm telling you that the Russians were involved, and this was a coordinated. They basically handed Maduro over to Trump to give Trump again, because they understand what they're dealing with. They handed Maduro over to give Trump his win. Trump right now thinks he has changed the news cycle. He's going to parade Maduro. They got the kingpin, El Chapo, or, however you want to call him, and he's going to make up lies. Right-wing media is going to run with it, that this was a procedure.
The war on drugs is over. I've ended it. We got the biggest drug dealer in the world. We're going to stop bombing boats. Yeah.
And it was the most perfect strike, like a strike you've never seen before.
No one's best ever.
Nobody's ever done it. The best ever. We picked him up. Nobody lost. And this is what you're gonna see, But in the meantime, you need to understand there's a lot more and bigger things happening. So yeah.
Okay, so dude, that's such great information. It's funny watching people chime in here going, "No way! I thought that was the case, but this is so much better information than I'm getting from anywhere else." Don't watch CNN. Don't watch MSNBC. Don't do it. Just watch us. Watch Aaron. Watch us. Watch Lev. Watch Malcolm. Just listen to us. Question. This is about Devin Nunes. And Michael says, hey, what's Devin Nunes's deal? And I think what he's referring to, if I'm not mistaken, is 3 days ago, Devin Nunes and Truth Social, he's in charge of Truth Social, took control of a company called Blue Water Acquisition Corp. 3. Weeks after the bid, $10 billion for Citgo, Venezuela's state-owned oil giant. Investigative journalist Wendy Siegelman broke the story. The timeline is damning. November, Nunez takes over Blue Water. December, went heavily into bidding in Venezuela. Trump bombs Venezuela, kills hundreds under the cover of narco-terrorism, and now they get, oh yeah, well, dude, let's talk about Blue Water acquisition. Let's talk about that shadow diplomacy. Let's talk about how Devin Nunez took a defunct, broke Truth Social Media and did a $10 billion deal for an oil company that had a bid that hinged on it being approved in Venezuela that wasn't approved. Last night, of course, the United States bombs Venezuela, takes Maduro out. I find this curious, Mr. Parnas.
Not curious at all to me. I mean, it plays in exactly. This is a continuation. That's why I keep bringing up the book. For those of you that don't know, I worked for Devin Nunes. Devin Nunes used to be the chair of the Judiciary Committee in Trump's first administration. He was a congressman from California, and Devin Nunes had a right hand and a left hand. To his two aides was Derek Harvey, who I personally worked for in the investigate while Nunez was investigating Ukraine, and the other dingbat was Kash Patel, who you see did the midnight run, and now he's the head of the FBI. Devin Nunez got rewarded for his craziness and basically being loyal to Trump and pretending he didn't know me. Blowing up the whole impeachment. For those of you that don't know, I'll give you a funny story because a lot of time has passed. We'll do
a little mini story time with Lev. I like it.
A little mini story time with Lev. Recommend, definitely go get it because there's a lot of stories like that, and this is truth. This is not some fiction that I'm telling you. So Devin Nunez, Devin Nunez was working with me, with Rudy Giuliani, with all of us behind the scenes to be able to prove this whole Hunter Biden and push the Russian disinformation campaign. When I got arrested, nobody knew because this was happening behind the scenes. But Devin Nunez wrote all these letters to the FBI and the DOJ saying that I'm a liar, don't listen to what I say, that he's the head of the House Judiciary Committee, that I need to be put away, and it made this whole thing about it. Then Devin Nunez proceeded to sue me, CNN, and Vicky Ward for over $300 million. Which he ended up losing. We got thrown out because he said I was a liar, that he doesn't know who I am. Okay. And this is getting interesting because, he keeps saying that he doesn't know who I am. I'm a liar, all these to discredit me. So now, folks, let's fast forward it. And I'm going to put it in my next letter because a lot of you, I'm sure, don't remember it or didn't see it, but I ask of you, please go Google it after you're done or right now. Go Google Devin Nunez during Trump's impeachment when he says he doesn't know who Lev Parnas is, and the next chain of events happened. So the first chain of events happened was with Eric Swalwell putting into record a Daily Beast article about how I blow up Devin Nunez's whole lies. But then something more interesting happens. All of a sudden, Adam Schiff comes out one day as Devin Nunez, the House Judiciary Committee, is sitting there, the head of this, saying that Lev Parnas, I don't know who he is a crook. Adam Schiff.
His exact words were, Nunez later confirmed he did meet you once, quote, in an odd random conversation.
but before we get to that, so all of a sudden Adam Schiff comes out standing behind them. This is the impeachment of Donald Trump. He picks up a piece of paper, and you know what's on the piece of paper, folks? They subpoenaed Nunez's phone records. They subpoenaed the House, and you know what are the records? They asked him. They said, "How do you not know Mr. Parnas if you have a 10-minute conversation with Mr. Parnas? Then all of a sudden, after you hung up on him, you call the White House. You have a 2-minute conversation with the White House. Then you call Rudy Giuliani. You have a 1.5-minute conversation with Giuliani. And then you call back Mr. Parnas, and you have another minute and a half conversation with Mr. Parnas. So you, Lev Parnas, Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump in the White House have this phone records of you guys speaking for like 20 minutes in this period of time. And so, so Devin Nunes' response was saying, a lot of people call me. Oh, the crazy part is he said they're so stupid. My phone was registered under my wife's name. So they thought they had this "I gotcha" moment. So this idiot goes on Fox News, and this is all on Google. So all of you could go watch or read it here. He goes on Fox TV and says, it wasn't Lev Parnas that called me. It was Svetlana Parnas, Lev's wife, called me, and a lot of constituents called me. So then the Fox anchor goes, what the hell did you speak to Svetlana Parnas for 10 minutes? And then he goes, well, we could speak about a lot of things. I mean, you can't make this shit up, folks.
Oh my God, dude. It's the same. And you know what? It's such an insult to the intelligence of not just you and everybody involved with Devin Nunes and Donald Trump for him to call that one thing an odd random conversation when you clearly talked to him dozens, if not hundreds of times. But it is the same MO with Trump, right? Epstein. I take a lot of pictures with thousands of people, and then they're like, Trump, hey, you know Lev Parnas. So there's like hundreds of pictures and videos. And he goes, I take pictures with thousands of people. It's like the one thing that every time I know he's guilty, he says the same thing, and it's like it's literally MAGA has lined up behind that excuse. Well, I don't know. I talked to a lot of people. I couldn't tell you. I take a lot of pictures with a lot of people. I couldn't tell you. And there's literal physical evidence, a mountain of it, that dictates not only do you know Devin Nunes, you and Devin Nunes work together, you and Donald Trump work together, you and Donald Trump tried to frame Hunter Biden together, and they're all sitting there going, I got to tell you, he's a rogue agent.
But, and between me and you, that's one of the things I still blame Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and the way they handled the first impeachment, because the first impeachment, and my lawyers reached out even to Eric Swalwell, and I welcomed them, to talk about whenever they want to. But, I pushed them. I said, we have the information. Stop with calling up, or, you called up Alexander Vindman, you called up Fiona Hill. I understand you brought, but these people don't know anything what's going on. They heard one phone call.
Yeah,
enough. You're regurgitating. You're bringing up 20 people because they have credibility, just because they have titles like National Security Advisor or all of this. That means they know what I'm telling you. You need to subpoena. They had the subpoena power. They had the control Congress. They could have subpoenaed Rudy Giuliani, and they didn't even have to subpoena me. I was willing to testify. I gave them my phones. I gave them over 100 pieces of articles. So think about what they did, folks. I want you to understand why they screwed up the very first impeachment. They went and used in the first impeachment, out of 300 articles of impeachment, 100 articles at least are my evidence that they took out of my phone. So out of my phone, out of my information, from text messages to emails, pictures, all of that, they took that out, used that as evidence for articles of impeachment. But they never called me up as a witness to talk about. Think about that for a second. So this is why I'm saying there's a lot more to this story than meets the eye, and that's why I'm saying to you, there'll come a time and a place where we're going to go over all of this, why Donald Trump is here to even begin with, because he should never be, in office. He should have been impeached in the very first one. But it is what it is, and we're dealing with it. But yeah, that was Devin Nunes. So Devin Nunes, now to go back after I told you guys that little story, then got, he understood that the heat might come down in Congress, and Trump gave him the payday. He made him the CEO of Truth Social.
Yep.
It gave him a lot of stock, money, and ever since then, Nunes has been running Truth Social. And being on the private side and making a shitload of money. And now they are taking over, basically going into the Venezuela. And like I said, watch those names.
He took over.
Beach,
Sorry, Gentry Beach. Harry Sargent. Anybody else?
Yep. We'll mention some more names later.
But listen, it goes back to this very conversation that we're having, not just about Donald Trump's intentions, not just about Devin Nunes from Truth Social, basically a bankrupt company, a shell company that they use to pay people off to drive wealth. 3 weeks before that announcement, Truth Social took a $6 billion stake in a Russian-owned fake nuclear fusion company. $6 billion, no word of a lie. And now Truth Social has taken a $10 billion stake in an oil company that's currently bidding on contracts in Venezuela. Devin Nunes is the point guy because it looks to me like Trump's Truth Social is a collecting pot for contracts of countries that he's currently looking to pilfer and fuck over, including Venezuela. But the Nunes shit is just mind blowing to me. It's open, blatant corruption, dude. Open, blatant corruption.
I want to try to see if I could find something here for you guys. So this is, folks. I'm gonna I'm gonna play something for you. Nice to see what I was talking about. This was during Trump's first impeachment.
For us who followed all of the hearings, is the revelation of these call records involving Rudy Giuliani, also involving Devin Nunes, member of the committee. We didn't know that when we were watching the hearings. When did the committee discover these phone records? Well, there are a number of records that we were able to obtain, and we obtained them over time, so I can't pinpoint for you precisely which records we learned about when. But nonetheless, these phone records show just the kind of interaction between these different players in the midst of this scheme, where you have Rudy Giuliani calling the White House and calling the Office of Management and Budget. Now, why is the president's attorney calling the Office of Management and Budget, which is holding up the military assistance? You have Giuliani obviously working with Parnas in touch with this reporter for The Hill magazine that's printing these false allegations about the Bidens, about Ukrainian supposed interference in the last election, and of course you have the ranking member, Mr. Nunes, also in touch with these players, and so we're trying to identify the full scope of those who were complicit in what the president was doing, and these records give a window of insight into exactly that. Did the Republican members of the committee know that you had these telephone records while, for example, the hearings were going on? Yes. In fact, the Republican members were made aware of the subpoenas that we were sending out. The Republican members were given the same phone records and other records that we received. And so they've had this evidence as well. Now, what they've chosen to do with it, whether they chose to look into it, ignore it, or hope it got swept under the rug, I can't say. But yes, they were privy to this information as well. So as we were watching Devin Nunes in the hearings, he knew that you had obtained phone records that included him, and that those phone records would inevitably be made public by your report. Well, he certainly had possession of the records. Now, how much he looked into them, how much he discussed what they showed with his staff, I really can't say. You would have to ask him. But he's certainly aware of his own conduct. He's certainly aware of his own communications with Mr. Giuliani or Mr. Parnas or with others. And whether that and to what degree that informed his conduct during the course of the hearings, again, are questions for him to answer. There are some calls in there in which it's not clear. It's not identified exactly who Rudy Giuliani is speaking to. There's a New York Times report tonight indicating that the possibility is the president could be on the other end of those phone calls. What can you tell us about that? Well, the short answer is we don't know for sure. We are trying and have been trying to get records from the White House, which has been unwilling not only to share them with us, but it looks like unwilling to share them with witnesses like their own ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland. But we can see in the Roger Stone trial that when Roger Stone was in communication with the president, it showed up as a -1 number. Whether that's the same situation here, we don't know, but we're trying to find out. It is worth noting, however, that Rudy Giuliani has one client in the White House, and of course, that's the president. So this is part of the picture that we continue to investigate. But given that the evidence against the president is already overwhelming. We were not prepared to let it slow us down. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe.
Oh yeah, Lawrence O'Donnell. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel, everybody.
So I just want to say the crazy part is you see how they're saying, well, they don't know if Rudy spoke, they called the White House. Well, if they would have brought me up to testify, I would have told them exactly what was spoken about between me, Rudy, Trump, the OMB office, Devin Nunes, because we had it, what's it called? But I also want to give you, this is very interesting. You gotta watch. This is Devin Nunes responding to what about the phone. Since you brought Devin Nunes, let's do a little show the people a little bit, because a lot of this stuff people forgot that that even happened. So this is an interview with Devin Nunes on Fox News or on TV, in Big Trouble. Oh, hold on a second.
One of Donald Trump's fiercest defenders, especially when it came to the impeachment investigation in the House. Well, now it turns out, through various documents that have been obtained by impeachment investigators and phone records that have been obtained by impeachment investigators, Devin Nunes was very much in contact with Lev Parnas, who was Rudy Giuliani's business partner and who also assisted the Ukrainians in ousting the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Ivanovich. Now, previously, he denied even knowing who Lev Parnas was.
Look at that guy.
Now things are a little different. Now Lev Parnas is calling him out. Let's go to the video.
Do you know Congressman Devin Nunes?
Yes, I do.
What's been your relationship with him?
We don't have too much of a relationship. We met several times at the Trump Hotel. Our relationship started getting basically where it expanded was when I was introduced to his aide, Derek Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why Derek Harvey was more of, no, I understood, I was told at that time, was because Devin Nunes just had an ethics, something to do with the next ethics committee, and he couldn't be in the spotlight. He was kind of shunned a little bit. And he was looking into this Ukraine stuff also, wanted to help out. And they gave me Derek Harvey to deal with.
You told Mr. Harvey what you and Mr. Giuliani were working on in Ukraine, trying to get Ukraine to announce this investigation.
He was aware of that already. He knew everything.
He already knew that by the time he talked to you.
He had a lot of information already.
Wow. So he would deal with
Wow.
the associate of Devin Nunes.
It gets better. Listen.
And again, as we cited, and we'll show you some evidence of this a little later in this segment, Devin Nunes denied ever talking to Lev Parnas, pretending as though he didn't know who Lev Parnas was. In fact, going so far as to mispronouncing Lev Parnas' name to try to show that he didn't know who he was, which was pathetic. But we have...
It's very clever if you're a dumb person. It seems convincing. Yes. And we're going to show in his denials, I don't believe he ever outright says, no, it didn't happen. He always left room, which hypothetically is the mark of a reasonable person. You can't totally deny something if you're not sure. But in politics, it means you did it. You don't want to get caught, basically.
You don't want to get caught lying, exactly. So you want to leave enough room to say something like, oh, you know what? I'm such a busy person. I went back and I looked at my records and it turns out, yeah, totally. Yeah. We traveled together. We went to the Bahamas, we dined at a buffet. No, he didn't say any of that. But he did say something along the lines of, oh yeah, I went back and looked at my records. Before we get to that, one other piece of this Lev Parnas interview with Rachel Maddow that I want to show you, because remember what I cited in the very beginning of this segment. Lev Parnas very much did know and very much did work with Devin Nunes. Devin Nunes is a ranking Democrat who took part in this impeachment investigation in the House. So what's up with that? Let's take a look.
Given that interaction that you just described with Congressman Nunes and his aide, Mr. Harvey, does it strike you as unusual or inappropriate that Devin Nunes would be one of the lead investigators into this scandal on the House Intelligence Committee? He's obviously the top Republican.
I was in shock when I was watching the hearings, and when I saw Devin Nunes sitting there, and then there was a picture where Derek Harvey was in the back over there sitting. I texted my attorney. I said, I can't believe this is happening.
Because
Well, because they were involved in getting all this stuff from Biden. I mean, Derek Harvey had several interviews, Skype interviews that I set up with different prosecutors, like Mazar Haladitsky, which is the anti-corruption prosecutor of Ukraine. Kulik, Konstantin Kulik was one of the major guys that had this whole Biden stuff. So it's hard to see them lie like that when you know it's like that. It's scary because he was sitting there and making all these statements and all that when he knew very well that he knew what was going on. He knew what's happening. He knows who I am.
So to me, he's telling the truth. And I also want to just correct something that I said previously. I misspoke. Devin Nunes is clearly a Republican, not a Democrat. But yes.
Yes. And thank you to everyone who tweeted at hashtag 2IT Live when they noticed that Parnas' lawyer indeed can blink. He did.
Okay.
So let's give him credit
Very
for that.
intimidating guy, though.
Yes.
So, look, it's clear Lev Parnas is citing all the different ways in which he communicated with Devin Nunes. He makes it clear that Devin Nunes knew what was going on. He was taking part in this criminality carried out by the Trump administration. And so what does Devin Nunes have to say about this? Well, very recently, right before Parnas actually did this interview,
Can't make this up.
he goes on Fox News and he changes his story.
we also talked back then about the fact that your phone number showed up with calls to him, to Lev Parnas, in a list of data numbers, and you said that you didn't recall speaking with him, or whether it was on your cell phone or your office phone. Have you figured out the answer to any of those questions?
And if you recall, that was brand new when that had come out when I came on your show.
That's right.
I just didn't know the name, this name Parnas. Mm-hmm. So, what I always like to remind people is, we are dealing with people every day. We're in overt.
So many people.
Incoming calls that come to my office, to my cell phone, et cetera, et cetera. And then, now that he had called my cell phone, and I didn't know his name. I didn't remember the name, but I did remember going back, looking at where I was at the time, because, you could do that now. You can actually know where you physically are, checked it with me. And it was very clear. I remember that call, which was very odd, random, talking about random things. And I said, great, just talk to my staff.
Boom, boom, boom. Just some odd random things, Lev.
And he's saying, I'm a very busy guy. I recognize this name, Lev Parnas. And now all of a sudden, I know, wink. Now I know that this interview is going to happen, and he's probably going to disclose how he has.
I mean,
Lev. I remember Lev.
It goes on. I mean, I'll put some of this, but if you guys are really curious, I mean, you will never see anything as hilarious. I mean, let me just one more. I got to show you where he blamed my wife. He says that it's my wife.
Yeah, Svetlana, who likes to call Devin Nunes on weekends just to shoot the shit for 10 minutes. Yeah.
1 second.
Because Devin Nunes is such an incredible personality that everybody just wants 10 minutes of his time. He's such a great conversationalist. Devin Nunes strikes me as that guy in every guy's friend group that no one wants to take to the bar because he's the first guy to fuck off in a bar fight.
Who's lawyer.
Oh, this is a good one. This is what's it called? Wait, whoopee. Hold on a second.
Congressman Devin Nunes, the top of the allegation with public hearings and not a peep.
Okay, I think this is a good one.
The articles of impeachment were delivered to the Senate. An associate of whose lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, Lev Parnas, was on MSNBC and CNN to reveal who he says was in on to pressure Ukraine into digging up dirt on the Bidens. What is the answer? Who was involved? Everybody.
President Trump knew exactly what was going on. He was aware of all of my movements. I wouldn't do anything without the consent of Rudy Giuliani or the president.
He said about you and Mr. Fruman, Igor Fruman, I don't know those gentlemen. I don't know about them. I don't know what they do. You're saying that was not a true statement from the president.
He lied. It was never about corruption. It was strictly about Burisma, which included Hunter Biden and Joe Biden.
In terms of who knew about what you were doing in Ukraine, did President Pence know? Of course. How do you know that the vice president would have known what Giuliani was up to? What you were
Because we would speak every day. I knew everything that was going on. I mean, after Rudy would speak with the president or come from the White House, I was the first person he briefed.
Hello. Hello. I mean, I just want everybody out there to understand this is 6 years ago. I
Yeah.
want you to go take a look at that interview 6 years ago and take a look what's playing out. And then I want somebody out there to come to our community and try to tell us that they know what's going on or they know better than what we're telling you. Trust me, I said it 6 years ago. I said it every day. That's why none of them could confront me. None of them could, what's it called? They took an approach of trying to pretend they don't know me, not give me the spotlight. And that's why, I called out the Midas guys and all of the other people, because that's what we need. We need the spotlight. We need to get this information out. That's how we're going to win. So enough of waiting for anybody else to spotlight us. We're doing it ourselves, folks. That's why we got our GoFundMe set up. That's why we have our volunteer group set up. We have a bunch of independent journalists and independent investigative journalists like Zeb, Ellie.
Oh, there is an independent journalistic storm coming around us.
We're gonna go kick some serious butt, ass, whatever you want to call it, but we're getting ready and we're gonna do it. So please, folks, right now, as I know it sounds crazy, they're invading. They just in Venezuela, things are happening. I warned you, it will get worse before it gets better. But know this, it's getting better. Know this, that we are going to succeed and win and take back our democracy, because no more talking, it's action. And the one thing I'm glad you guys are all starting to realize, all the lies, all the people. I know what it feels like when people try to pretend that you are a liar, that you don't know what you're talking about, that they shut you up. You see, I've been dealing with this for 6 years, but they can't keep us quiet no more, because the truth is out there. And that's why I promise we are going to do the same thing for every Epstein survivor out there, and for every child that's been kidnapped and taken or killed that doesn't have a voice in Ukraine, because that's one of the two things that our platforms are going to make sure to expose and to get justice for the Epstein survivors and for all those kids that don't have a voice, because these pieces of shit that are going out there and playing, these games because of power, oil, dictatorship, they don't care about the casualties or the collateral damage. But we do care, and believe me, I know it's a lot of this, but believe me, we have so much more. I have in this phone, you're not even ready. Some of the stuff, Devin Nunes, that's some of the stuff we should do, Dean. Actually, maybe once a week, we should do a special for all the paid subscribers. Do like pick a subject, pick a person, Pete Hexen.
Give them the full backstory, get a pelt. Yeah.
And we could do like, have pictures, videos, never before seen stuff, go into it, and just another something like that, which would.
Like a special unmasking Substack Live? Is that what you're saying? I would love to. Dude, you know what I'm like every time you're like, hey, I can't mention this name. So if someone wants to pick out a name and they want you to out that person, you're like, okay, this is the guy this week. Let's do it. That like a regular unmasking where we tell you who this person is, who they really are, like you just did with Devin Nunes, who's just a fucking loser, who lives in a fucking land of losers, who lives to fucking suck off the Trump teat, and he's a criminal like the rest of them. If you want to do that, if you want to unmask some Trumpy criminals that you're aware of, dude, this is the Coffee and Tea with Lev and Dean. This is the perfect place to do it. And I want to encourage everybody here, because we're building a bigger boat. And I said that there's a storm coming, an independent media storm coming. As you can see by the numbers in this Substack Live, as we can tell by our analytics, as we can see, the world is waking up to the lies of Donald Trump. The world is waking up to the lies of fascism. The world is waking up to the idea that Donald Trump is a dictator who manages a few and speaks for everybody else, and everybody else is sick of his shit. And there are people like Lev, people like Malcolm Nance, who was just brilliant on this Substack Live a little earlier, who are well worth getting behind. Not just getting behind, but supporting any way you can. There's a Ukraine GoFundMe. I know we're going to put this in the Ukraine GoFundMe when we post this a little later on our individual Substacks. There's also a Media Play GoFundMe, and hopefully it's been in this chat if you can donate to that. But really, the best place to do this is in the subs, that little gray chyron at the top. All you got to do is hit it. You follow us. Paid subs keep us in the game. We are a community. We are a resistance. But we're only capable of doing this because of you, because we are you. We do this with you because we feel you. We're going through the same things, but we just happen to have the chief sausage maker of the MAGA sausage, which is just awful, tastes awful. Lev Parnas here to Sherpa us through the fucking truth. You can't find it anywhere else. Lev remembers, paid sub. Go there today. Lev, my brother, I love you. I love doing this with you. Thank you so much for taking your time and your energy, your security, giving it to this community. You do it every day relentlessly. And if we had 20 more Lev Parnases, we'd be able to save democracy, my man. God bless you too.
Dean, my brother, I love you. But before we go, folks, I know we had a 2-hour special, and I want to thank, we have about over 4,000 people here on a Saturday. Those of you that came in late, we will be putting it out. Dean will be putting it out. I'll be.
Hey, dude, just so you know, you got 4 on your end. I've got 3 on my end, right? So
yes,
about 7,000 people.
We got over 7,000 people right now watching, and it's extremely important because we're going to put it out. The number one thing I'm asking each and every one of you is share this information because today was a special coffee and tea with Lev and Dean because there was a lot of breaking stuff happening that is very important. It's not a regular Saturday that we've invaded, we've kidnapped a president of a sovereign country, even though he might be a terrorist, might be a bad dude, but we're just going off the rails, and a lot of it has to do with a very important subject that we talk about is the Epstein files, which we will make sure to keep an eye on here. But with all the bad stuff and all the crazy stuff, I tell you all along is that we do see a positive light at the end of the tunnel. This year, not only are we going to stop just talking, but also not reacting, but actually putting action words to power. But also, I have a little special treat for you guys. Some of you already might know this person. Some of you have not met her before. But before I tell you, I'll give you a little preamp. She's somebody that's very special. She right now, she used to be, she's actually a licensed professional for 20 years, life coach, but she considers herself more than a life coach. She considers herself somebody of positive energy influencer that spreads happiness and health, that brings you a lot of health, wealth, and a lot of excitement. And I think this year, with all of the stuff that we went through last year and all the stuff we're going to, I asked her to come to join our family here on Substack and to be able to share her knowledge with you guys. And I'm going to bring her up. She's somebody extremely special, and she has some positive message and positive energy. And I want to end off the show with positivity because we have a lot of negativity, a lot of craziness going on in the world. So we need somebody. I want to welcome to the show my sister, Ludmila. Dean, you're one of your number one fans. I just want to say, you know.
Hello, my beautiful souls. I love you. Oh my
Ludmila, I missed you. I followed you the other day. Your beautiful profile picture, that beautiful smile, positive vibes, positivity. Lev told me you were going to come on, and we're going to start doing this little segment with you at the end of these coffee and tea with Lev and Dean sessions, where you're going to fill us with positive vibes, positive intentions for the coming weeks. Is that true? Have you joined the team?
Let me take you away from this negativity. Let me bring you to the world of love and happiness.
Please.
Let me do this for you, because let me tell you something. I am blessed. I'm really blessed. I am overwhelmed with the positive energy. And today, you have a lot of life coaches, but I'm a different person. I'm an energy provider. And I promise you, after we talk, after we socialize, all of you, anybody who is going to be open to receive this warm feeling of happiness is going to feel it, because energy is very much allowed to be provided all over. You just have to be able to receive it, to be open to receive it. And my brother, my amazing brother that I'm so proud, my God, this man, he makes a difference, you know. And you know what? I always told them, you gotta be in it to understand it. And you, my love, went through life of movie. You know, this is like a science fiction, adventure, drama, comedy, the whole bouquet. And today he's allowed, thanks to this Substack, to this wonderful platform, to share it with all of you. My God, I'm so proud of you. God
You
bless you.
should be. God bless you. Look at the smile on that guy's face. Yeah, I've seen Lev happy before, but every time you come on, and I said this to him prior to coming on, and this is a lot of things people don't understand about Lev. Yes, he is a very serious fucking player, but that man has more love in his heart,
His heart. Oh my
the
God, his
empathy,
heart.
the emotion. Like, if he could fucking save everybody today, he would. I have never met anybody like Lev Parnas. The ability he has to love is endless, but I
And you
think on
never
the
will.
other end of the
And
spectrum,
you never will. And you never will. I promise you. I
Guys,
promise.
guys are gonna make me blush. I love you guys. I just want to say, honestly, for all of you that know my story, you know, and I'm not, you know, I don't bullshit you. This is not a promotion. This is not. You see that person sitting right there. I mean, you see that smile she has on her face. You see that energy. It really goes through it. I mean, you know, those days, those nights in prison when it was cold nights, and you know, getting off the phone with my wife and my kids, and not knowing what to expect, not knowing, and then I would always make one of my final calls to my sister, because I knew that after speaking to her, she would put me on such a energy hype that, you know, sometimes I thought I was crazy. I'll be honest with you guys. I thought sometimes I said, you know, and I would get off and I would tell her, I mean, with the shit you're saying, I can't. But the one thing that she's 100% right, and I understood, is to be able to understand it, to be able to feel it, you need to be able to accept it. You have to be open, and
Believe it.
that's a very key word. You have to be open. You have to let your mind go away and accept the positive energy, because the one thing Ludmila taught me is we see the signs, but a lot of us sometimes just go past it and don't look at the sign, what God is giving us, that power, the power of energy, the power of
Amen.
strength, the power to
Amen.
succeed. So that's just my take on it. So folks, you know, you will see it for yourself. Make sure you give Ludmila a follow.
oh, you have to. She's incredible. She's incredible. She's literally like an elixir. Her Substack account is like medicine. Yeah.
Exactly.
Guys, guys, before I go,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, love.
I would love to do something for you, for all of you. It's a
Mhm.
lot of people right now watching, okay?
Yeah.
And I just want to share a little tool that if each one of us just receive, it's going to really help you in the long run. Smile. Smile is the key. When you smile, everything changes. Your thoughts are changing. Your attitude is changing. The outcome of your life changing. And it makes you a better person. You love yourself better. So please keep smiling. Keep
Mm.
shining. Life is beautiful and we are blessed.
Ludmila,
Thank you.
Amen.
thank you. The Parnas family is some kind of special. Ludmila, thank you. Thank you, Lev. Thank you all for joining us today. Lev, why don't you anything to add before we go? Make sure you give Ludmila a follow. Make sure you give Lev a follow. Hit that Chiron at the top. You'll subscribe to all of us. Anything you want to add before we split?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say, first of all, thank you all for the support. I mean, it's a new year, but we're still dealing with the same craziness. The one thing I could tell you, again, I'm saying it over and over, but I want to make it very clear. We're going to let our actions do the talking. This year, different than next, is we're not going to be reacting. We're going to be proactive, not reactive. So we have a lot of things lined up. We know the game plan. I know the players. I've lived it. I've done it. And this platform is like nothing else. And with team members like Dean, with Zev, Ellie, Shane, Nick, and a whole bunch of others are out there, American Citizen.
I'm a member now too.
Yeah,
Oh, I was
Ludmila's
gonna
on the
say- I was
team.
gonna say, well, you're the most important member because we all bring the news and negativity. You bring the positive sun, the positive energy
Amen, guys.
that balances out, and that's why now this is part. Like I said, we're more than just a movement. We're more than just a community. We are a family. So yes, I know it's difficult. Finances are harder, but right now, if you can, the most important thing you could do is to become paid subscribers to all of us, because that allows us to do this full time, to be able to give you the information. And then obviously, the main thing we're pushing right now is phase one. The number one thing you can, if you is to become a volunteer. You go to levpttp at proton.me, our volunteer group. Jay is here with us. Hey, Jay, Happy New Year. She's in charge of it. She's running it. Incredible. God bless her. We have some incredible volunteers, too many to name. So keep signing up there. Also, we have this week, just to give you an update, we're having talks with the professional group that's building our infrastructure. We're close to getting we're I think at 76 or 77,000. We need to go a little bit more to get to that number to be able to hire them. We're almost there. Continue whatever you can, spreading the GoFundMe, continue contributing, because once we build the infrastructure, once we have our grassroots ready, we're going to go out and hit the road. And the one thing I could promise you, all of these things in this iPhone, all of these things in my head, all of these things that I lived through in this book, now I'm going to use to be able to take Mega apart piece by piece with our team here. And one of the ways we're going to do it is by promoting independent journalism on our platform. So enough is enough. Go to Love Remembers. Make sure you get your T-shirts. Enough is enough, because when we go out there and when we come to your city or your town or your state, and we're going to come out there, I want everybody out there wearing your Enough is Enough shirts, and go out there so we could make a difference and we really could get our democracy back. So I love you guys. Dean, keep up the incredible work. Have a wonderful, if nothing breaks, hopefully we won't be, otherwise we will be coming live.
Oh, we'll be coming live again. We don't live in that time anymore, yeah.
It's a crazy time. Mila, I want to thank you for joining our Substack family. I love you so much. I know you're going to be, a lot of people here need you. A lot of people here need that positive energy to cope with a lot of stuff. So I want to thank you for coming on here and helping a lot of people. It means a lot. I want to do a shout out to my son, Aaron, for all the independent journalism he's doing, because he was the first one out there. A lot of people out there. Also, a major shout out to my other son, Daniel Parnas. A lot of you don't know him. He's behind the scenes because helping me, my wife, Svetlana, and Ludmila, because none of us are computer or any type of literate. So Daniel out there, I love you, my son. Everybody is doing their, and that's a good way to end it. Everybody could do something. So for you guys, close your eyes, and I'll leave you off on this, that to save our democracy, to go out there, to be able to get normalcy back. We're about unification, not division. We're about truth, not lies, because the truth doesn't have color. The truth doesn't have right or left. The truth doesn't have religion. The truth doesn't have any type of political affiliation. The truth is the truth, folks, and we all deserve it, and we all need it, and we all are going to. Part of this platform is to bring it out and make it. So I want to just say again, thank you to each and every one of you. God bless you. Continue to support and have whatever is left of this incredible Saturday. Enjoy it with your family and stay tuned, because there's a lot more coming and information is key. So, Dean, Ludmila, I love you guys.
Love you, pal.
God bless you.
Bye, guys.
to any other different source.